Hi, we'll quickly talk about Muro, which is like a curing chamber. There was a question posted on Facebook asking about, what is a good setup, good idea of creating a Muro. So this would be just a quick introduction. Muro, the word means a chamber, a room, a cave, or we call it ofuro in Japanese, which means bathroom. So if you think of bathroom, bathroom is a space which is warm and humid all the time. For a professional muro, the size is definitely much bigger. It's usually built like a cabinet built by carpenters, and the size is usually like a huge shoe box, kind of a shoe cabinet, or it can go as big as like a walk-in closet or a floor-to-ceiling kind of a built-in closet as well. Because at any time, an artisan could be working or lacquering, 20, 50 bowls that needs to be cured at the same time. So it needs to be a much bigger scale. But for Kintsugi home craft use, it's very easy to create a small module, a small unit that you can use in your studio or at home. And a lot of people use just plastic bin or cardboard boxes, shipping boxes, packing boxes, which is also fine as long as it does its work. So the objective to have a muro is actually to create a controlled space or environment which you can maintain the temperature and humidity for the urushi lacquer to dry, to cure. And also another very important reason is to have a dust-free environment, because lacquer surface is so delicate, any tiniest little speck of dust will be highly visible. It doesn't need to be airtight like a refrigerator, because urushi lacquer is an organic material. It has a lot of enzyme in there that is doing its little job, it becomes active, and it needs the oxygen to do its work. So it's not like you need to create a vacuum or airtight space. So what we have here is actually super cool apple boxes. The size somehow, the Japanese apple boxes have just perfect size for Kintsugi used muro. And I put caster on them so you can move them around. And then you can stack them up. You can rotate them, you can use them in multiple ways, but the best orientation for me, I think, is this kind of a setup, because it becomes a piece of furniture. You can move around, you get a kind of a counter service for, I don't know, storage. You can put your monitors in there. It can become a TV stand as long as it's stable. And I like it because it's also front loading, unlike if you use like a plastic bin or a paper box, which is top loading. So front loading makes everything so much easier to see. For visibility, you can quickly see what's in there. For reaching, for loading, everything is much easier. So that's why front loading muro is preferable. And the setup is very simple. I got the box, and you can actually use any used bookcases, bookshelves, module, those storage modules you can buy in the store, and then pimp it up to become a muro. So for these apple boxes, I added an insert, a wood insert, all around the four sides and the back, because of the nature of these boxes. Apple boxes or fruit boxes, there are gaps, huge gaps in between the planks. So that's why it's good to have a cleaner kind of surface inside, which actually gives you better insulation. You don't have any leaks where air or dust can go in and out. So that's why I just kind of insulate it with a layer of whatever thinnest wood I can find. Typically, muro was made with cedar wood or cypress, which are antibacterial or antivirus. So kabi mold will not be growing inside. But for our quick Kintsugi use kind of Muro, I think it doesn't matter. Any type of wood should do. So we have the thermometer temperature check here, which I kind of leave it hanging, and this is like 20 degree, 25, 26, 27, and then humidity is about 70%, which is perfect. And this is my water source, which you just keep it in a bowl like this, like that. And for all the shelvings, a typical or traditional Muro would have shelves like this, which is removable, so that if you have a taller piece, you can just remove these shelvings and place in like a taller vase or a bigger bowl. And then once you put it back in, these sticks as well will make loading and unloading very, very easy. So for example, for small pieces like these sake cups, so I can load 3 in one stick and I can easily move them in and out. And I also would keep some of these wood sticks around. They are very useful because sometimes when you lacquer a surface, like an edge, for example, like this edge, you don't, somehow it needs to be dried, the other way for whatever reason. You don't want that to touch anything, so these will become like a good thing for it to sit on. And so sometimes it's like very thin things that you're working on or lacquering. You don't want to just leave it on the surface because the edge is probably so close to the bottom. So that's why you kind of prop it up with these sticks. So these sticks are also very nice to have, very useful. And then yeah, just little parts when you need to dry or cure your lacquer, you can just use these foam with toothpicks and then it props it up like that. It props up a small little piece if you're working on jewelry. So these are nice, easily achievable at home. So that's that. And then I have a second tier Muro, which is literally the same setting. It's good to have 2 units if you do a lot of work, because if you do multiple pieces at the same time, because you run out of space at the bottom. That's the one that you want to control your humidity and temperature, and anything is done, you can kind of, okay, this one is done, you can move it to the second tier or the other storage unit for storage when you have time to work on them. So this one you may or may not even need that front panel or door because it's just for storage. But then let's say you have a big project, you have a lot of things that needs to be worked on, then you just add the water and the thermometer on this tier, so then you get 2 functioning Muro as well. So for me, this one is just for storage at the moment. Another way to wet your room is, I need to remove all these. You see that piece of fabric at the back? So that's another way which you can, if you don't like to use that bowl of water for some reason. So this is another way to keep your chamber moist, which is you utilize your shelving, your sticks, or you can actually put hooks at the back as well. And you wet a piece of towel or cloth and then put them on the stick and then let your stick sit at the back because it doesn't take up any space. So this one is a space saver way to moist your chamber, your room. So So I would actually do this higher, a little higher, like this. So if you wet your fabric, if you need to raise the moisture, you can also take the stick out and then spray water on your fabric and then put it back at the back, and then you can put all your pieces inside again. So this is how to maintain a good Muro setting.